Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. You see the title of the video. Video games and super teams in the NBA. This video is actually a request video. Shout out to, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing, CL Audio Jr. Bellin 496. Or it could be Claudio Jr. Bellin 496. But he made this request quite a while ago. Next couple of weeks, I'll be trying to get to some of you all's guys' requests, hopefully more frequently. But so he says, hi, this channel is part of my daily minimum requirements because of your very logical takes on certain issues on basketball and sports in general. May I suggest that you share your opinion on how video games may have affected the perception of the younger generation in terms of super teams. Thank you so much. Interesting question. So if you grew up in the 90s, during the Michael Jordan era, during the era of the GOAT, I would imagine if you were into basketball, you were probably into video games as well. I definitely was. And, we've all heard the saying that, art imitates life and life imitates art. I definitely agree. Both of those things happen kind of simultaneously. A lot of times one more than the other is happening during a certain period of time. And if you grew up in the 90s is really when sports games first started becoming really prevalent, because in the 80s, you had I think that might have been right around the time Nintendo was really popular, maybe late 80s. You guys remember games like Double Dribble. If you remember the Atari, the basketball game on there. But at the time, hey, that's all you had, and it was great. But during the 90s, that's when more of the prevalent basketball games, I would again say, thanks to Michael Jordan, a lot of the more in-depth basketball games started coming out in the 90s. That's when EA Sports came out. That's when you had the live series, NBA Live came out. And I would argue when that first came out, that was more popular than the 2K series. And, then eventually you had 2K come out. And, but yeah, so we kind of saw the evolution of those video games. Games where you could first actually play an NBA season, where it wasn't just this, one-on-one versus, not one-on-one as in, one player versus one player, but 5-on-5, but you couldn't play a whole season. And so we watched the evolution of those things, to where you could first play a season, eventually where they started allowing you to create your own player. Eventually you could create whole teams. And so for us, we watched basketball where I think art was imitating life, was doing its best to imitate life. I would say around the 2010s. It's kind of when basketball games were, there was nothing you couldn't do on them. At that point, the graphics were just pretty much getting better and better. And at some point, in some way, I would say life started imitating art. Or at least we were getting to that point to where life was starting to imitate art. So here's the thing with the younger generation and super teams. I would imagine that definitely the young kids who are into video games, their perception of super teams, I would think, definitely has to be affected. And I say that because I don't know how many of you guys are still into video games today, but I still play occasionally. You know, I got a PlayStation 4. You know, I always refuse to buy video game systems as soon as they come out because I think the price is just ridiculous. But and then not only that, matter of fact, we're gonna sidestep really quick. Let me know you guys' opinion on this. To me, the realer a video game gets, it starts to lose its fun. To me. Because to me, the purpose of a video game is to escape. It's like, I don't want to play real life on a video game. You know, video game is supposed to have some element of fantasy. But the realer these games get, you know, like, I have a PlayStation 4, but I'm really starting to think PlayStation 3 was the last video game system where it was really, to me, it was right on the line. It was right on the line of good enough graphics where it still had games with good storylines. You know, I feel like video games today, a lot of the storylines are trash, and it is mostly just based on how great the video game looks. And again, I don't want to play real life. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about that. If you guys still play video games today, and definitely playing some of these basketball games, you know, NBA 2K20, you know, 21, whichever one you're playing, I feel like because it's connected all over the world and you're playing in these, you know, have access to the whatever multiverse or whatever it is. But anyway, you can play, you know, players from all around the world. And most people are stacking their teams to maximum capacity because that's what everyone all around the world is doing. It's like, if you're going to compete with any of these guys, your team has to be your team has to be really stacked. I mean, you need Michael Jordan with LeBron James, with some creative players maxed out, with Kobe Bryant, you know. And I say LeBron James because they make him better on the video game than he is in real life. But but yeah, you really have to have a stacked team to compete. So for someone who grew up playing these video games like this, you know, I'm not sure how they could view super teams as a bad thing. And, you know, and I'll go as far as to say, I think a lot of the kids who grew up, let's say, playing some of these games from 2006 to 2007 onwards, you know, a lot of them probably have some type of video game mentality when they're even playing in real life, you know. So, yeah, I definitely think that especially video games in the modern era has distorted the way that these younger kids look at video games. I mean, distorted the way that these younger kids view super teams. You know, that coupled with the fact that we live in an entitled society anyway. You know, we live in a society now where people don't care how you win. They just want to win. You know, they don't understand the journey anymore. They don't think the journey has any value. But again, you know, for those of you who saw my video I did on Michael Jordan and Kevin Durant, and I had their pictures up of how they look winning the championship, and Jordan is sitting there, you know, holding the trophy, crying, emotional, and Kevin Durant is standing up there, you know, with his MVP trophy, with this blank look on his face. I mean, such an unemotional look. You know, I'll think to myself, did you just win an NBA championship? Did you just win your first NBA championship? Because, you know, if I was judging by the picture, I would think that I would think that you're watching a movie that you don't care about right now. You know, because it's such a detachment from emotion about that championship. But that's the society we live in. It's like people want to win, but they really don't understand that it's the journey that gives your win meaning. You know, it is completely the journey that gives your win its worth. But yeah, I don't think the younger generation understands that. But anyway, so yeah, I think that the whole thing, this entitled society coupled with some of these kids who grew up playing some of these video games, I definitely think they probably have a distorted view of Super Teams, or at the very least, don't understand why Super Teams devalues your legacy. But anyway, we gonna hold up here. Again, shout out to Claudio Jr. Bellin 496 for the topic. Thanks for supporting the channel. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think video games has affected the way the younger generation view Super Teams? Has it altered, distorted their perception of Super Teams? You know, has it made Super Teams not a big deal to them? Like they think this is just what you're supposed to do. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.